A very warm welcome to our speakers, panel of speakers, and to our listeners for today's topic, which is very close to my heart. I represent Loani today. Loani is Ladies of All Nation. It's a world record holder non-profit organization, which is brought to life by an innovative partnership between women and emerging leaders of all backgrounds and cultures. These leaders have a shared vision of driving better change in today's global communities, and they are doing this better change by enacting positive changes. Ladies of All Nation is a global platform which focuses on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and is instrumental in creating opportunities for business collaboration, spreading knowledge, inciting ideas and thoughts that can create all new beautiful worlds, especially for women who need to strengthen themselves. We build networks, foster personal growth, and aid professional development with a mission to creating an ideal environment for people of visions to influence the society and connect with other global leaders from around the world. And today is one of the days that you will find many global leaders in today's discussion sharing their viewpoint to one of the topics where we are doing education and awareness on domestic violence. An organization, Loana, is that looks beyond boundaries. They are officially certified and trailblazers and innovators who have joined Luani from around the world with over 160 countries under its umbrella. So imagine the power of these empowered women and allies who are under the umbrella of Luani are making changes each and every day by sharing their experiences, by sharing their thoughts, and having these kind of discussions which empower each other. We select true leaders in their field who drive a clear vision and purpose to shape the world we live in. Those who are deeply thoughtful of others, who exemplify humanity, generosity, and compassion, dedicated to supporting the well being of others and fostering a spirit of collaboration and cooperation in his or her workplace or their community. So, how do we really select these Luani chairpersons, members? We select them because we believe that they are the leader, a change maker, or a community activist, the one who's really making changes or doing the ripple effects in the society. Someone who has distinguished themselves in contributing to these different sectors and services to their community and nationality, as well as bringing people together with enthusiasm, commitment, focus, and positivity. We come together, standing together in solidarity, supporting and encouraging each other. Throughout our struggles, promoting awareness, uniting for good causes, and which is one of the good causes that we are going to discuss today, and celebrating our unique accomplishments and successes. We are dedicated to empowering the advancement of professional women, business women, and the different women who are making these changes through meaningful networks, through meaningful connections, through their professional development, career advancements, and personal branding, and creating these new opportunities who join us as Loani members. Our collective expertise is what makes us thrive on to take action and contribute positively to humanity. The interesting part is that more importantly, we are unifying our visions and using our voices collectively to motivate change and build a brighter future for all of us at Luani. And in all aspects, one thought that connects all of us is equality and diversity, including equality and diversity across age, race, creed, gender, sexuality, religion, ability. So we have got beautiful survivors under Luani, those who have World of Honors, beautiful survivors who have initiative which was created to honor and celebrate survivors as heroines and empowering them to move out of the positions of the victims. So they have changed their challenges into opportunities, into lessons for people around us. So they are warriors, not only survivors. The interesting part of our mission is connecting various cultures. As I mentioned, 160 countries, various cultures, and uniting together of nations around the world, every language, every tribe, every clan, every culture, every woman, every ally matters to us. And this diversity, every individual communities, when they come together, especially for a great cause. Let's come to the topic today. As I mentioned, this topic is very close to my heart because sometimes in our life, we don't even realize what domestic violence is. These small episodes of microaggressions, these small episodes of gaslighting, even sometimes the terminologies we are not known to them, even sometimes the actions are new to us. So it's really important first to understand, to be aware, to get educated on what does domestic violence or the violence against women mean. So today's topic is the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. And what is it dedicated to? It is dedicated to raise awareness of the fact that women around the world are subject to rape, domestic violence, and other forms of violence. The aim of the day is to raise awareness and highlight the fact that the scale and true nature of the issue is often hidden. So, how can we bring that change and how can we uncover the truth and help each other? Are by sharing stories, inspiring each other, sharing the stories of the survivors, sharing the stories of these warriors who have either found new ways or have some tips for others to follow. So, such great empowered women we have in our panel today. We are so fortunate to have with us different speakers from different parts of the world. So let me start up first by inviting our very first speaker, Juhi Yasmin Khan. She's Loani UAE chairperson. So a very warm welcome, Juhi, to you. And I want to give you this opportunity not only to introduce yourself, but also to share your views on this very essential topic that each and every woman and ally should be aware of, which is the violence against women, which is domestic violence. Over to you, Juhi.
Thank you so much, Dr. Preeti Kachru. That was really enlightened and very useful information and very beautiful introduction, which you gave it to all us, the speakers, about Luani, their work, the way they have connected all of us, and to the topic, which is also very close to my heart, because through this topic, we can educate people, especially ladies, we can educate them, we can save their lives, we can save the violence against them, actually. So this topic is also very close to my heart. I am Juhi Yasmin Khan. I am the Luani UAE chairperson, and it's my honor to be associated with Luani and with Caroline and with all of you. So thank you so much for having me among the panel and this beautiful discussion. And I am the founder of Future Philanthropist CSR Initiative Company, where I run in UAE. So I'm representing UAE over here in Luani, and I'm really privileged to talk about the domestic violence against the woman. First and foremost thing is that nobody has a right to do anything against women, whether they are their parents, their father, mother, their children, their husband, or anyone. It's not beat only to, I can say, only husbands, anyone. When they born like a baby girl, from that moment till they become the grannies or the nannies or anything, nobody in this earth has any right to do any kind of violence against any woman. I am so against it. And all the women, first of all, I can say to that they should learn to say big no. No is the word. If they learn this from the beginning, because from the childhood a woman is is programmed to say for everything yes, for everything it is adjustable. She should adjust all the boundaries. She should be the first one who should not deny anything, who should accept whatever the conditions, whatever the programming you do it as a male dominant society. So it's been programmed. So I want to break this chain, and I want to break this chain by educating the women who are so close to us, or not even us, like close to us, but whoever is listening, or we should educate them first and foremost thing, because anything which is against the violence is stop it. How you will stop it? Say no. No, I'm not going to tolerate anything which is going to be against my wish. Where it is going in the night, doing anything against my wish or anything. So, first and foremost thing which I feel is the most important thing to educate a baby girl to a elderly woman, anyone, to say no. No to the things which is against your wish, whatever it is. Even if it's I don't want to cook today, I don't want to take my child out today because I am tired, or I don't want to help my younger sibling or my elder sibling, anything, just because I am a woman. I have that motherly instinct with me, so I can be loaded with lots of burden on me or anything. No, complete no. No, it should be my choice because I'm a person, I'm a human being. I have all the rights to judge what is good, what is bad, what is not acceptable for me. The society has no rules over my body, over my thinking, over of my well being. So each and every woman should say no. From the beginning of their childhood, they should understand the big meaning of the saying no. Again, I'll say the same thing, that women should be free of their thoughts. Why we programmed all the women in such a way that, okay, a woman is like, like we are very fragile, we can't take big decision, we are not good in money matters, we are not. No, look at the women who are in every field. But despite that, we have not received that freedom of the mentality, the freedom of the thought process, where we could feel ourselves completely free to take decision of our body, to take decision of our mind, to take decision of our soul, to take decision of our well-being. So we should, as a woman, should educate each other that it is okay to say and refuse things, to it's okay to stand back to yourself, and it's okay to report if the violence is becoming too big or too deep, whether the husband is doing, or any male dominant personality is doing, or employers are doing, or anybody, the business associate, whichever field the woman is working and living in the house, everywhere it is happening, it should not be tolerated. And especially it is in domestic, which is definitely is done by lots of son, lots of husbands, lots of fathers, lots of mother-in-laws, or any kind of domestic violence, which is not at all acceptable for a woman. So we should actually educate the women, especially who are in a domestic violence, which is the topic of today, is that no, I'm not going to tolerate it. Definitely no. I have a power over of my thing. Nobody has a right. God has not given anybody a right to abuse me verbally, to abuse me physically, to abuse me mentally, to abuse me spiritually. Whatever is my beliefs or anything, let me be free, let me do that. So you should be so much empowered. And see, when a woman can bear a pain of giving a birth of a child, she can tolerate any sort of a trauma, any sort of a pain, anything. So this small thing, if that burdens a woman, especially when it comes to domestic violence, why you have to tolerate it? Just strong enough to stand back to yourself and s- uh, support yourself, your own mentality, your own self, to guard yourself. Whichever kind of violence it is, you should stand back. And this is my way of like I go to lots of places here where I see lots of women laborers, lots of people actually who are maids, or who are even I have seen the empowered women sometimes. They, when they are in some kind of, like emotional, when we meet for the meetups, it will be very surprising for you guys that woman is a woman, whether it is a maid or a any small job or any high position. They all get time to time abuses. They all get name and shame and comparison, all these things. Why? God has not made us to make it a, we are not here like a mirror or anything that you do anything, you throw anything on us and we keep tolerating it. No. There is a time that everyone should stand back for themselves and say, no, I'm not going to tolerate it at all. Whoever the position God has given it to me, or whatever I am in place, whether I am JYK Juhi or Dr. Preeti or Manju or Caroline or anything or anyone else, we are not going to tolerate anything. No domestic violence. We are not animals. And for God's sake, even for animals, you cannot do the abuse on them. Then, being a woman, how can we tolerate abuse on us? There is nobody. Nobody has have any right to do any violence against women. No. So that is my stake. That is my true belief, and that is my message to the woman these days. Stop all these things. You are so powerful. You can give a birth to a child. Nobody can touch you, your body. Nobody can have sex against your desire, your wish. Why these rape cases? Why this violence? Why this beating? Why name and shame? Nothing. No. You have so much power. Feel that power. Stand back for yourself and say no to the violence. It should come within you. I'm not going to be there to protect you. You are going to protect yourself. So be self sufficient. You are a complete powerhouse. I don't think that women need that kind of thing that they needed, that we empower. God has empowered a woman by giving them so much of strength within themselves. So we should educate women that please feel your power. Stop any kind of abuse on you, whether it is verbal or any physical or spiritual or any kind of abuse. Please don't tolerate it. Your toleration should not be up to the limit where it shows the tux mark here, here, or here, beating signs here. No, it should not be like that. Nobody can even touch a finger to me because I am not anybody's property. Women are not anybody's property. God has made them, fulfilled them. It's a complete institute in itself, the woman. So you should guard yourself. You should protect yourself. You should nurture yourself. We are here to spread the love, not the hatred, not the violence. So I am the one person, and I think all of us will say definitely no to the woman violence at all and teach them to say no, and we all are together. We want to empower them, though they are empowered already, but definitely no violence against the woman can be tolerated. I'm not going to tolerate it. No.
Thank you so much, Juhi. A few things really touched me, and I completely agree on what you just mentioned. Is the power of no.
Yep.
So this power of no plays a role in many places. It's whether it is
Why should I tolerate it?
woman,
Like, why should
or
I
whether
tolerate? For what?
yes. So I think it's really important to realize that power within ourselves and use that super
Exactly.
power. So I think that's a very important message to all of us, that to feel empowered, realize your power, be self-sufficient,
Exactly.
and take that step, because no step is small.
At all.
It can be just one no, but it can make a very big change in your life.
When they see a first red flag of coming to them in any way possible, they should stop at that same time immediately. They should not tolerate any manipulation. They should not tolerate any gaslighting. They should not tolerate anything. When they see first red flag, whenever anybody raise voice on them, anybody oppose them, anybody say no, you are not right, you're always wrong, or they will program them such a way that you are a weaker sex, you are small, or you are something, immediately they should say no. Whatever you are saying, I respect that, but this is my opinion. You should speak your mind, you should speak your thing and stand back for yourself. You have a power. Woman has a power in that.
Thanks, Juhi. It was really empowering
Thank
for
you
me,
so
and I
much.
hope for the rest of the panel speakers as well.
Definitely. Thank
So
you so much.
before we move to our, thank you so much, Juhi. And we will be in discussions further, but we'll move to our next speaker, Kalpana. But before we move to our next speaker, I'm going to give some definitions and awareness around another important point, which is part of the violence, is microaggression. Microaggression, this term, I got introduced at a very late age, I should say. Because for me, when I realized people around me, I felt that there were so many small things that were happening around, which was part of microaggression. But because we are not accustomed by the term, or we are not accustomed by that, this is also a kind of an abuse, we
Okay.
just keep ourselves, submerging into the fact and moving on with that ongoing behavior. So it's really important that we should really have our awareness around what these pointers are. So I'll just give some awareness around microaggression. It's usually used for a commonplace daily verbal. It can be at home, it can be, when you are coming back from work to home, or going towards the work, or even if you are working, or cooking something, or some kind of interaction that is happening. So daily verbal behavior or environmental, whether it is intentional or unintentional, the communication that is hostile, that is derogatory, or any negative attitude that is towards that stigmatized or culturally marginalized person, including women, is your microaggression. And this definition was coined by Harvard University psychiatrist, that is Chester M. And it's very important sometimes to hear these statements to know the signs. Because if we don't even realize that we are in a relationship with abuse, it's very difficult to come out of that situation, because for you it becomes a part of your daily life. So let's hear it from our next Loani chair, Kalpana Kundan. A very warm welcome to you, our next speaker. She is the chairperson for India. And I know her very closely, as we have been part of various platforms. And she's one empowered woman who inspires me every day. So over to you, Kalpana, to share your brief introduction as well as on the topic of today.
Hello everyone, Namaste. This is Kalpana from London. And guys, I really need your apology because there is a party going in my neighborhood, so you can expect, some noise. But it's really nice to see you, Preeti, after a long time. And yes, Preeti is one of my best friend and very inspiring. Frankly speaking, when I started my journey, she was there with me, but we used to do small event before I met Sister Makaka, who take all of us to the next level. About myself, I'm by profession, I'm IT professional, and I'm a social entrepreneur. I'm born in India, work in different continents and countries. I'm in settled in London, and I'm with Loani since long time. Domestic violence, don't want to waste much of the time because I don't know when the noise will start. I will talk about the India which I encountered from the childhood about the domestic violence. Major reason is dependency of the woman for money and finance to the husband. Most of the time, either his father, brother, whatever the way. So still in rural areas, still the story is the same. So the for women, you have to be mentally prepared, like as Preeti mentioned and sister before me mentioned. The first time when you start, you have to stop them, that itself. You don't about what will happen because So far, I attended so many domestic violence event in our own organization, Loani, because Sister Makaka keep working on this since long time. She took me to the other events as well for the domestic violence. Sometimes I represent Loani, and sometimes I represent Sister Makaka as well. The moral story, everybody speak their own stories, and the story was everybody told the one thing: we have to stop in the when happened first time, otherwise go worst. So for that, you have to be all the women of the world. I will request you have to be financially independent. Start with whatever the way, because nobody is less. The wisdom has created me, my other sister, whole world is same wisdom, so nobody is less. So we have to start a mindset of the financial independent, because trust me, I'm talking about the India, where I saw since the childhood, major of our servant maid coming home, you will see the bruises in the body, and they are not taking the big step because of the financial independency. Is there totally depend on that husband or the main member of the family. Second thing is with the time, it is they think this is the way of life. It's okay to be get bitten. They will say, the society will also push you, especially the Indian society. You are a woman, and it's okay if her husband is beating, your brother is beating. So the parent duty also in the child, so teach your brother to love your sister. And during the parenting, we are all the mothers now. So when our daughter, we have to teach, no, you don't have to, this is not acceptable thing. You have to talk and start when the first is happened. Second, your son, you have to teach them how to respect the woman. So it's a small step. It's helped a lot. So this is not in any culture, not it's not acceptable. This is not a way of life. And sometimes they think this is love. If my husband is beating, but still he love me. And that the same thing they're giving to the next generation. This is very dangerous. In most of our family, even the high society also, I made couple of, they are not coming and talking about it, but they're getting bitten. And Indian society, they give you the mindset. Even mother sometimes say it's okay, your husband is it's okay, he will change. And they think, okay, what people will say, something wrong happening in my daughter's life. So too much of artificial thing. This is the time, sister, to change. We have to think about us. It's not be the one life. If one person take action, and we unknowingly inspire others. And so that's why my point of view, correct me if I'm wrong, the financial independency will play major role for this, to stop this this violence. Second thing is, very first time, you have to take action, because other, it will day by day it will get worse and be tough to handle. So the book, our brother has, Luani brother has wrote the book First Lap. I want all of you to read that. This is a really inspiring book. And with that, I'm done. And I would love to listen to more from you guys. And let's work together to whatever way we can help the society to stop this one. So let's talk about, this is not acceptable. This is not love at all. Beating is not love. It's torture. And even Preeti can understand where I'm coming from, because it's my family. Once it's happened, and the first day, my aunt told in the family, everybody was with her, and it won't happen again. So first time, don't think about what people will say, my friend will say, society will say. Just talk, and trust me, that is the time you can stop easily. Otherwise, you delay, it will get delayed. So with that, I'm done. Thank you, Sister Makaka. You always work in a background and empowering us. You are the strength for all of us, and thank you for creating this wonderful platform. And it's a blessing to be part of the India chair for Loani. Thank you, sister.
So much. It was so empowering to the real life experiences that you just shared, and especially how much it is embedded in the culture and how much culture influences the kind of violence that we have or the violence that happens against the women. So it's really important, from the key message that you gave, is stand up, take the action. So the very first step is so difficult, but if you have taken that one step, it will start not only driving the change in your life, but for the people around you, because then you become a role model for the others. So many of our other sisters who are actually in the similar boat, they really feel empowered looking at one person who takes the one initial step. So it's very important to stand up and take that first step before the injury happens, as you mentioned. So my next tip is going to be very much around another key point from the violence, which is gaslighting. And what does this gaslighting really mean? Gaslighting is manipulating, or putting up some thoughts, which is by psychological means, into letting people doubt their own sanity, doubt themselves, and doubt what actions they are taking. A very good example of gaslighting will be, let's say, if you are cooking some dishes every day and your husband says, "Oh, this is not good." So if you hear that it's not good every day, within 10 days, you will doubt yourself. "Oh my God, am I really cooking good?" So then you start distrusting yourself, trusting the notion that there is something wrong about the way either you're cooking or doing anything. Cooking is just an extempore example. It's just an example to show how these small things can make such a big change in everybody's life. And this doubt becomes an avalanche over the period of time. You will start doubting your second action, your third action, your fourth action. So, this gaslighting will be in very small forms. The important part is identify, take action, stand up before the injury happens. So, we move to our next speaker to hear from her experience. So, a very warm welcome to you, Manju Gautam. She's our Loani Nepal chairperson. And if it is possible, please do come on video as well, so that we can see and connect, putting name to face, face to name. So over to you.
Thank you, Preeti and Leonie family and Caroline. Please accept my apology for the moment. I'm not so well, so I have turned my video off. I'm very sorry for that. I'm in the bed and okay. It was great listening to Juhi and Kalpana. As Kalpana's sister is from India and I'm from Nepal, right? It's a similar kind of story. Okay, greetings everyone. Namaste. This is me, Manju Gautam, Leonie chairperson from Nepal. I'm a social entrepreneur and a youth activist. Currently, I'm involved with F&B Nepal and I have my own company, Connecting Management. And I'm also a social activist. As we are focused to DV session today, let me talk about the Nepal context. According to Act of Nepal, DV is like any kind of violations within domestic relationship, right? So I would also say that saying no is the biggest thing. It's the first step. And if anything, we need to speak up. And if we are able to speak up saying no, then that's the very important thing. And if anything, we need to fight back, right? And regarding key fact about DV in Nepal, even in my circle, there are some women who think that domestic violence is only the violence. In domestic violence, physical violence is only the violence, they think so. But there are other violence also, sexual violence and financial violence, and mental, emotional violence, right? And in Nepal, majority of domestic violence is physical, and among them, only 2/3 of victims or survivors, they go for legal remedies. And and other they tries to settle within the community itself. They don't speak up, they don't go to the appropriate place for their settlement as well as for the justice, right? And here, male dominated society and the patriarchal system is the reason of domestic violence, like. And as I'm working with the NGO which is looking after domestic violence, as per the research, the major cause is alcohol intake, and we have suggested the domestic violence survivors to get connected with us, and we have suggested them to approach the like local government, like they can go to police and even court as well as like women commissions, right? And and we have suggested many women as well as not only the women, even men and other are also the part of, they are also these violence survivors. The only things like physical violence is the domestic violence, so as it is noticed and other are neglected and they don't have proof, we have just mentioned them. That's the thing. And they like we educate people through different means, like uh, we like make them aware through FM programs, and we do the community mobile clinics in urban areas, and we like provide them education to illiterate people as well through posters, booklets, and pamphlets, so that they are aware, right? And like, yeah, are you hearing me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I think like we can prevent this to be happened is by, first thing is to say no. We need to create awareness among people, like community education is the uh, main step. And next one is like changing the mindset of the people, I feel so, right? And like by prosecution of perpetrator and providing security to DV survivors. And other thing is raising the voice. DV survivors' voices are suppressed, no? So we need to make them empowered, and like we need to make them aware to raise the voices. And um, I feel we teach them to love themselves and to be themselves, right? And to say no. This is what we are doing. Yeah, this much for the moment.
Thank you so much. I think it's very important to know what are the laws and regulations and how we can weave into the cause to support the other women around us. So
Yeah,
what we have right now is really wonderful, because if you're aware on what are the resources and tools that can be used during the journey, Manju,
Mhm.
then it's the cause more. And I
Yeah,
think in terms of those differences and how you can bring the awareness as well. So the
yeah,
key that I should see from this discussion, from your points, is to be aware, to take that step, and to know your regulations well, how and where they can help you. And there
yeah,
are different type of violences. It's not only limited to one. So
yeah,
we have
yeah,
on how these things can be changed and how we can make ourselves aware and people around us aware on those causes.
yeah. Sorry, I just missed one point. Like we do provide trainings as well to illiterate women so that they can be financially independent, right? And if they got separated also, they can earn their living. That's the point we are doing. Even like we do campaigns for that. Yeah, that's the thing for now.
Like you mentioned, Manju, when you said that you do campaigns for that and you train them,
Yeah.
the most of the fairs, especially if you talk about Asia Pacific, I think it's equally in the West as well. But when we talk specifically from the Asia Pacific, the women are not that financially advanced as compared to the rest part of the world, and they fear that they or a decision to come out of that abusive relationship, or you can say from that challenging situation, they fear that how they manage themselves,
Yeah.
in terms of their financial. But when you say that you are helping them provide these financial assistance in terms of trainings, they
Yeah.
feel more empowered, or they must be feeling more empowered how to be fully prepared for their future and take the decisions in time before further damage. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing what all activities are being done and how you are, being the flag bearer of these changes in your own space.
Thank you, Preeti. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing this awareness. So we move to our next speaker from Mongolia. But before we move, again, it's time for some facts. So the facts are globally an estimated 736 million women, almost 1 in 3, have been subjected to intimate partner violence, non-partner sexual violence, or both at least once in their life. So that means 30% of women aged 15 and older. Imagine the stats, imagine the damage, imagine how much we need to heal, not only to heal ourselves, but to the people around us. So let's not only empower each other, let's take what all, in addition to what we have been doing, that we can do today and we can start today, right? So let's move on to our next speaker. Again, a very warm welcome. And as I mentioned, our next speaker is from Mongolia, and her name is, if I'm spelling it correctly, please to mention it. It's Beam Betsetseg Narmandach, Loani, Mongolia chairperson. So over to you, Rosa. Please have brief introduction of yourself and share your views. Rosa, over to you. I hope the internet connection is not playing internationally right now and we could hear you. I think it looks like there is some net issue. So no worries, we have with us our communications lead from Loani. So we have Adobe on Yak Valley. So I will really like to invite you not only to introduce yourself, but also to share some viewpoint on the current subject. Over to you. Adobe, can you hear me?
What did you say?
Yeah, so I invited you. First of all, a very warm welcome, and you are comms lead as well. So just want to have a bit of your introduction, and if you can share your few views on the current topic, which you know is about education and awareness for violence against women.
Okay. Hello, I'm happy to be here. And I'm Loani chairperson for communication and advocacy. Yes, I've been listening to the things about domestic violence. What I find is that you might not like what I'm about to say. Okay, most of the things that what Johi said, Kalpana, even the other lady that finished speaking, and yourself, Preeti, they were very good, valid points. But how come, even with a lot of people knowing that the domestic violence is bad, it still goes on? I believe that most of the domestic violence against women is perpetrated with compliance from women themselves. Because how come in a house, when there's no money in the house, the girl is expendable? They sell the girls to get food for the family. And there's a woman in the house who sees this going on. in most honor killings, there's a woman there who actually closes her eyes. So women should be ashamed. And whatever they
Can I please?
learn, they actually have to start putting it into consideration. So what we need is more awareness so that the women should be held accountable to themselves. There's no point hiding under religion, under family. Oh, I can't do anything because my family where I'm scared of my family. If you really love your fellow women, you shouldn't be shouldn't be supporting men to comply to put women in servitude. Even we see that in this when they kidnap girls and put them in brothels. There's some madams there who are fellow women. So I found that very, very difficult, So I think awareness, education, and empowerment, because these women, they might be aware, but they're scared. If you are aware, why are you scared? You have to be, I agree with Manju and what he's saying about empowerment. Women need to know that they can be empowered to act in the face of negativity. Even if they said it, they're doing it for religion, they should say, no, I'm not taking part, and actually blow the whistle. So there's, like, I'm from Nigeria. In Nigeria, most of the women they're the ones that actually lure these women into, to domestic violence. They know the man is bad, but still, they actually give their children away just because he's a millionaire, he's a billionaire. So you should start empowering the women themselves, because I believe that if women are empowered, nothing can shake them. From the education they have and the awareness, they need to be accountable and want to change the world. Because even no matter how much we want to change, if others don't cooperate with us, it's not going to be able to spread all over the world. And that's why, because I actually say that talking about this issue is something that is going to help. That's why I came today, because I felt that I need to know more about how it happens in Asia from their own perspective, so that we can say this as a springboard for change. And this Loani has provided this very important platform for us. So I thank you. That's all I can say for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And the back from this conversation of yours is Springboard of Change. So we are Springboard of Change. Loani platform is Springboard of Change, and we all can be Springboard of Change in terms of making those changes by taking the decisions that can help us to come out of that situation. And I really love the point that you mentioned, that these are excuses when we say, okay, it is because of the culture, it is because of this. When we want to make some change, we can do that change. I think it's a very simple example. Let's say if today we want to eat a cone of ice cream, vanilla, we make the plans, we ourselves, and then we move towards that. So this is similar kind of a change. If you want to make change in your life, if you're really 100% devoted to that, yes, I'm going to take that first step and do those changes in my life, and I'm not going to accept, it's a complete no for me. I'm not going to accept any more violence or any more behavioral attitude that is not correct or fair against me. I think that starts with us. Even if there will be 10 friends saying, okay, yes, you have to do that, nothing is going to change if you don't take that very first step. And when we look into the stories that are weaving across the world, and you may agree to that whether it is Asia Pacific or whether it is, outside of Asia as well, the challenges are similar. And the stories are very similar in terms of how it is done. I think maybe the amount of damage that is done, or the you can say the distance that women are taking to bring themselves out, maybe of a different intensity. But they are very similar kind of stories across the globe, I feel, which are contributing to this. Now it's the fact time, and the fact of the day is fewer than 40% of women who experience violence seek help of any sort. In the majority of countries with available data on this issue, among women who do seek help, they mostly do it to look for their family and their friends, and a very few look to formal institutions. So they really fear who is going to be the right person when they want to take that very first step. So they usually approach their family and friends, and that trust has to be there with those family and friends. And they have to build that trust to help them out as well. So, they have to extend that hand to bring them out of that situation. So they are not encouraged much. So they still lack in terms of, there's a gap how they look forward for these formal institutions such as police and health services, which can help them. And fewer than 10% of those seeking help appeal to the police. So that's how it is. It is impacting that even if they are taking some chances now, they can make some changes. And when they are making those changes, they need that support, that help. And they find that in very close people like family and friends, and sometimes with the institutes, like I mentioned, like police and health institutes, or counselors, or support system, or lines that are there to support them. Now let's go and invite our next speaker. Our next speaker is from Mongolia. She's Luani Mongolia chairperson, Byam Betsetseg, Narmanda. So I'm going to invite you, Rosa, to share a brief introduction about yourself as well as your views on the topic.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, yes, we can hear you and we can see you as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sorry about late time. I just enjoying with you. And yes, I'm here now, finally. And I'm really happy to see you all you. You all look very beautiful. And yeah, I'm from Mongolia, but currently I'm in Singapore. So there's a very difficult thing happened to me actually. So I came in Singapore 2020 around March, but there's another organization from Singapore, the chairperson lady, she wanted me have there to participate in the kind of seminar. It's like meeting. So we had a conference last year, July, but I couldn't participate. I mean, it didn't just exist because they COVID, right? So I'm stuck here because I didn't find any flights, and all flights postponed, canceled, it didn't exist. And then so far 1 year, almost 8 months, I stayed so far in Singapore. And finally, I found the flight to go back home, which is, I'm so excited. And that flight will be after just 1 week. So that will be great to see you. Do you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. And I've just put the congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Be able to read.
Yeah, it will be amazing to see my family, my friends, and all people in Mongolia I know. And that will be great to see you again from Mongolia as well. So I might be the first person from the Lion Sisterhood from Mongolia probably. And I'm really excited to do many webinars with you in the future. So yeah, you can call me Rosa, but my full name is Byam Betsetseg, and that is quite a long name. It's hard to say. Anyway, then you can call me as Rosa. And
Sure.
yeah, I mean, here, like I'm still doing the organization things, and I also a marketing manager. And I used to work in Mongolia for tour agent for last 5 years, and I quite understand that what's the domestic violence, the abuse, or during this COVID, I seen it a lot, especially here. I feel like it's not right. It's just like very difficult. Why these things should go like that? It's just like I feel like from the childhood, like if we have children, right? So we need to grow them as knowing how they can treat people as right as they have to. The problem is I don't feel people just like living in separate room is like separately, because in my country, did you ever heard about, have you ever heard about yurts, Mongolian yurts?
No, please do share.
So the Mongolian yurt, I will show you guys next time the picture. The Mongolian yurt is usually even 6 people or 10 people, they just live in one yurt together. And their children, they grow up as living with people, and they understand how they can treat people as right, as respectfully, and they understand how they can really communicate with people well. So they have this compassion from their childhood, from their when they were children, you know. But in this somewhere in the another country, where when I see people, I feel like they have very lack of communicating well with people to make sure to respect them, right? Or just like need to be more compassionate or show their compassionate more. It's more like self-awareness and more like selfish things I see more here. I see more in other places as well. And it's just my opinion that it could be different, but I see this a lot, especially during the COVID. It's just like people think money is more important, but I feel like no, that COVID is teaching us to be more compassionate people and more someone who's responsible for their family, for others, for all public you are living in. Because if you don't be that person who needs to really careful to be healthy, or be careful to be someone who's really responsible for the people you have, then others will be affected as badly, or like the things will go wrong, right? So that I have learned things that we need to really teach our children as from their child, which is like little children, even they understand things very well. They're really smart to understand things. Even I had one daughter, she's just turned 7 and she's very smart and she understands everything quite well. And the good thing is she always compassionate to anyone and always like to be kind and always like to listen or always like to learn things together with other people. And that makes me, my parents, her grandparents taught her quite well. That I'm pretty glad. I'm so far here, but I'm a single mother. I have never married, but I had boyfriend, my daughter's father, but we didn't work out, and he just left me and her, and that's I didn't want to he come back to us, but I'm really glad I'm single and powerful mother, and I'm really happy she's in my life. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rosa. I think you have added to the empowerment in today's
Mhm.
conversation.
Thank
First,
you so
you
much.
are a woman who
Mhm.
knows how much you're capable of. You're a proud single mother and you're raising a beautiful child, an aware child. And the key takeaway from this discussion for me that I can share with others is 2 points. One is about compassion, that compassion really plays a role and it does wonder when we start grooming our next generation about how it can make a difference. Second is self-awareness.
Yeah.
Self-awareness, if you have, I think this is where you can take your very first step. So it's really important to understand how we communicate, and when we are communicating, is it clear, and how that clarity can bring that change or at least convey the message that we want to. So very important two pieces. And I think another one I want to share with you is I am Singapore chairperson. I think I missed introducing my Dr. Preeti Kash. And I work with a consumer health company, GSK, as a principal scientist. I have been researcher from past 22 years. I am also working in community for more than 10 years as a grassroots leader, helping and serving community on my weekends. And when I get time, yes, I do serve in clinic as well. So these have been part of my work, but the important part that changed or did the step change was this Loani partnership, especially meeting Caroline Makaka, because I realized that just one woman can make such a big difference by bringing other powerful women together. And by sharing these stories, it not only broadens our scope, but also brings in the enterprise thinking that this is our world, and we sometimes feel these are the challenges that we are facing, and will we be able to face those challenges? But when you listen to these empowering stories, you feel, oh, these challenges are too small. I think people have faced bigger challenges than us. They have not only survived through the challenges, they are victorious, they are warriors. So we can be one as well. So I think you have established that one of the examples here for us. And I also
Thank
want
you
to
so
wish
much.
good luck for your early recovery on your arm. I can see that it looks like, I don't know, hairline fracture or something. It looks,
It's
I
like,
hope, recovering
yeah,
early on.
I was cycling and that was almost 1 month ago, almost it's 1 month. So I fell off from the bike and I just fractured my hand. There's two sides, little bit. And the doctor told me that the last thing you should keep this split for a while until maybe December. So that's pretty hard. I'm actually moving from the place I used to live and I'm going to the another place. So it's quite long things I'm doing now. So I mean, quite lots things I'm doing, but it's all okay. Yeah. So yeah, this is
I think
like
that the time will
I really
time.
follow what you said. I really agree what you said. The self-awareness is very important, and that's people need to understand how we are independent and confident people, whatever is their situation with us, and whatever things with you. It's just like we need to have our this confidence as long as we can, and just always keep it and always help people. That's important. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's
You
time for
are
the fact
welcome.
before we move on next discussion.
Yeah,
So the
it will be
fact
very
time,
nice. Mhm.
at least 155 countries have passed laws on domestic violence and 140 have laws on sexual harassment in the workplace. However,
Mhm.
even
Mhm.
when laws exist, this does not mean that they are always compliant with international standards and recommendations, or that the laws are implemented and enforced. So even if we have regulations in place, even if we have laws in place, how many really use those laws in the right time at the right place? And how many are being fully implemented, even if they are like written standards in different countries? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw one question to all of you as speakers, and we can do kind of a panel discussion in which I will like to hear your thoughts on this point. So my question for all of you is, if there is one single tip that you want to give to a woman who is going through violence in her life, any sort of violence, that they are suffering, so what is the very first step they should take? So this is an open question to all our speakers. Anyone can start and
Nice.
share views on. Yes, please.
Mhm. For me, what I want to give it first thing for the woman is that great angel in the world. The great angel came through in the world to make sure they continue their human life. And that women need to understand whatever they are in, wherever they are in, whatever situation with them. They're just the amazing thing. They are the great angel came without not any problems, and so innocent person, and make sure she needs to be very fresh in her mind, and she needs to be fresh in your brain to think about things, to make sure everything, even she doesn't matter how much she has, how much money she has, how life she is in now. It's just like doesn't matter. It's just she needs to think about that I'm the amazing, compassionate, lovely person in the world. I can look after anyone as same way. I can just give them a smiling. It's today my smiling give to people just happiness. Today my little thing, little help, it matters to anyone. They might fall, it will be fresh, and that will be my future. Is brightening. So that's I would give always compliment for ladies. You look beautiful, you are great, you are a great mother, you're a great sister, you're a great friend, you're an amazing person. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rosa. So let's hear it from our other speakers as well.
Like I would suggest DV survivors to speak up at first and like to be strong and fight back.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, Manju. We can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, my tip to the people, actually, especially for the domestic ladies, will be, first of all, know your self-worth. Know your thing that you are more than enough to any point of time. Like you have to take the help from the authorities, do so. Just say, as I initially told you also, just say no to the violence. Why should we bear it? First of all, my tip is that you are more than enough to at least save yourself. I know some men are physically stronger. I know some people are physically stronger than the petite female or like whatever, because man definitely has a more power over the bodily power, that way. But mentally, we are more stronger than anyone. So feel that power from your within yourself. You're worth everything. And then, first of all, you empowered yourself, be the strong person, know your worth, and then whoever is possible to involve, any authorities, anyone, neighbors, children, or anything, involve them, voice, and then get on your feet and inform the authorities, your children, your parents, your brother, your sister, whoever, and tell them that this is what's happening with me. Don't, for the namesake of the shame, also what society will think about it, I'm so weak, how people will take me like this. Don't just kill these taboos and like go out of your comfort zone and do something. Take action to stop that violence on you. Nobody is going to, God is not going to come, anybody will not going to come, the authorities will not going to come unless and until you will inform them. So be this much aware that please inform about that violence, about that abuse, to anybody who you can feel comfortable talking with, and seek the protection from wherever it is possible and safeguard yourself.
Thank you, Joey. I think that's very important. Safeguarding
Yeah.
yourself and, holding yourself responsible in
Yeah.
terms of, yes, I'm going to make
Yeah.
that change. I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
So that
Enough is
change
enough.
you have to take. Nobody else can do it for you.
Of course not. They have to voice that enough is enough. I'm not going to tolerate it. No way. Not at all. Even a one bad word, if they will say to me, or any abuse, a little bit of touching or anything, why should I tolerate it? For what? I'm no less than anyone. I am self sufficient. Even if I'm not earning, even if money wise I'm not, but I'm contributing in the housework. Okay, you keep 10 people to do the same work what I'm doing it. If they will see this thing then themselves, they are more than enough for anything to do for themselves and for the entire family. You can do anything. Stop it. Enough is enough. Say no, stand back, inform people, involve people, safeguard yourself and out of this abuse.
Thanks, Sri.
One of the words I'll have for domestic survivors is that they should know that whatever somebody says about you, that I know now, it's not you. If somebody say you are useless or that you are bad, that is not true. The person is only saying it just to disempower you. So I like what Johi said about shame. Most of the time, just because we feel ashamed, there's nothing wrong with feeling, making a mistake or feeling that something is wrong with you. You can actually, everybody is in the same position. So by allowing yourself to feel shame and not speak out, that is the worst thing you can do. Yes, people are going to laugh at you. Let them laugh, but at least tomorrow you're going to be a different person. And also think of speaking out and make plans. You don't have to stay there. Nobody says just because you marry somebody, you have to be there forever. I know people say marriage is made in heaven, but sometimes there's some mistakes people make, or some partners you choose, there's mistakes, and you have to leave. You don't have to stay there. I know some people say because of the children, you cannot leave. But what if you get killed with your children? Sometimes it's not really good. You have to make good plan so that when the person abusing you is okay, you can actually meet and talk about family. But nothing says that you have to go there. The important thing is you have to think of your mindset. Don't allow whatever they say to affect you, because you might say, oh, why did you, this is your portion in life. That is a lie. Nobody's created to feel that negative portion. Everybody has a different opinion. So please do not let, you have to guide your mind. Do not let whatever they say to affect you. That is your power. Whatever they are saying is their own perception of themselves, and they're putting it on you so that you continue to feel bad. That is mine today. Thank you.
Thanks, Atabi. I think it's really important to clear the perception, to see your reflection, to check the mirror in terms of where we stand and what we can do.
Thank you.
Really important key points. Let's hear it from other speakers as well. Kalpana, Manju, you want to contribute some ideas on this one? Kalpana, can you hear me? I think today technology sometimes plays a big role. Yeah, the network is unstable. Yeah, Manju, can you hear me? Okay. Looks like our speakers, not all are having good connection. So let me throw another question, another key question before we will do some wrap up, is what are the root causes of these violence? So we do talk about what needs to be done. We have explored that area as well, how it can be done. Now the question is, what are the root causes for violence against women?
Can I start?
Anyone?
I think the root cause is that the mentality of the men dominating society, where they have programmed a woman as a weak sex. She is woman, she is petite, she is weak. I have power over a woman. Who gives you power? God gave you power? No. Nobody gave you power. But this is the mentality. This is the root cause where from the beginning, a woman has to feel herself that I am weak, I am insufficient, I am dependent on anybody else. She is always called a better half or a better. Why we are half? We are whole. Woman, this is the mentality, this is the society which has made a woman feel weak, incomplete, incompetent, insufficient. She is not the whole. Oh, come on, a woman is a whole. So the mentality of the society which programmed a woman that you are weak is the root cause of the insufficiency and the feeling which is inbuilt in a woman that, oh, I'm not good enough. I have to tolerate. When I get married, I have to tolerate the nonsense from my husband. When my son will be bigger, I have to tolerate this. When I am small, I have to tolerate it from my father. Male domination things. And even if you are unlucky, you will get a, even a woman will abuse a woman when it will come to the in-laws, especially in India, like that. So I am not saying that it's only male dominating or anything. It's been programmed for a woman to make them feel that you're not good enough. You have to prove your worth in every point, by cooking, by cleaning, by if you are a woman and say it's this thing, if you are husband and wife, you both are working together, both are doing business together, but a woman, when she enters the house, she is the one who's going to give the food to her children, who's the that male will not do this. So this is the mentality, that's the root cause. We need to change the mentality that we are whole, we are sufficient, we are not weak. So this is, in my view, is the root cause, is the society's programming against a woman. It's a game against a woman. Come on, for God's sake, let's finish this game. We are not.
Really very, very strong and beautiful words, very powerful words. When you said you are whole, I think it's not only coming, from what we have realized over the period of time. Even in mythology, when I look back from the Indian culture, they will say women as Nari, as Shakti. Shakti means power.
Yeah.
And they will say that women is, mother of creation.
Of course.
And they see women in different forms. But when we come back in terms of relationships, then the most abuses that happen against women. So in one way, you're saying, okay, you are so empowered, you're powerful, you're mother of creation, you're mother of this. But then again, in other aspects, there is the respect and the thinking completely changes. And you rightly mentioned another key point that I have also observed over many cases that I have seen is that it's not only by men, which is the root cause, it's also by many women.
Exactly.
Even women passing remarks like, telling them you are petite, you are fat, or maybe you're able to do this thing. Oh, I'm doing so many things. You're not even doing one or two things for your husband. Or even these small things. Oh, did he slap? Oh, he slaps me every day. How bad it is. I think I've been managing since so many years. What is the issue with it? It also starts with your parents. Your mother will say, oh, I used to get scolded every day. What is the big deal about it? Even if he slaps, but he's taking care of you, he's providing you finances, he's providing you food. So it not only goes from generation to generation, it also circulates within the society, within the system, and we are not able to break this vicious cycle. Why? Because then it becomes a part and parcel of your life. And then challenging that system is the very that you fear to make that change. And the women who are making those changes, either they are considered, oh, she's just trying to be very modern woman, or she's trying to break the stereotypes, she's a feminist. So there are many labels and stigmas that are put towards that woman who wants to try to make those changes.
Such women are called home breakers. They are feminist. They are the revolutionary sort of a people. They are not the good material for a wife. Why? Because these women are not going to be under your thumb. That's why you are not going to control these women. That's why it's completely it's a very big game actually. It's a very very massive game. If you like let me say a little bit, like, when it's a degree of the respect in our religion, when it's giving to the God says three times to your mother, to your mother, to your mother, and fourth number is your father. But because this is male dominating society, they have changed it completely. This 3 point, which is mother, 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 is been hiding. It's only father. So it's father dominating things, which is not true. We are the woman who gives birth to the children. We are the one who is running the lots of things. Full family is dependent. The food, the clothes, the cleaning, the everything is depending on a woman. We are the provider, or somebody else is the provider for us? They should feel themselves this way, and they should change this mentality.
True. Thank you so much, Juhi. I think very, very strong points, which really touches, I think, each and every soul here. So let's move to next speaker,
Can I speak, please? Hello?
Kalpana.
Uh,
Yes, please go ahead.
um, when I was growing up, I actually was behaving like that because I thought that was the normal way to do. Because I remember my parents, treating the boys differently. When they make food, they give them the big piece of meat and give the girls the scrap, even though we cook the food. So I grew up thinking that that is the part of life. But do you know that this women empowerment, these sessions we come to actually help, because it opened my eyes and I said, I'm going to do things differently. Though I didn't know how, but to listen to all of you, especially what Julie has said, I realized that we have to make the changes by opening our eyes so that we can see things. So like the women, the way like they come to the house, they're the one, actually these women are the one that raise both children. How can women raise the kids, but when they grow up, they become something else? So it's up to the women to respect both the girl child and the male child together, so that you give them proper education, because these boys are the one that's going to grow up to become the men. So if you train
Exactly.
them that they have to respect everybody. They don't have to enslave women. Doesn't matter. Don't show any religion. People misinterpret religion.
Exactly.
They misinterpret it so much, and they
Exactly.
just to take what they want. So women should actually be the one that educate properly. But because once this education is done, things will change. Because if it's done wrongly, the women continue to do the wrong thing. No matter how much empowerment, we're just going to keep having the same problems. So it's time to change. Thank you.
True. I think it's a very important, you can say, key message that you have given is it's time to change. I remember from my own personal story, I was raised in a house with equal rights, and I never felt that there is an unmet need of women to grow and look for their rights. Because for me, it was how I was born with everything fair, equally distributed, and given equal opportunities to my brother as well as to myself. So for me, even thinking that I will not be given these rights was a very different story. But when I started going to my school, to my university, I realized the women around me, when the girls used to talk and say, okay, yes, this I didn't get, or maybe they won't be sending me to such and such college or university. They are sending my brother there, so they won't have enough budget to send me for the education. It was so surprising for me to accept the fact that there are these kind of unfair practices that can also happen based on gender biases that exist. So I started making myself aware on what are the challenges that women are facing, and how I can be one of their allies, and how I can play a role in this journey. And the interesting part is, when I got married and I came into another culture, so on the very first day, I was told, okay, we have to wait, as my husband will finish eating first and then we will start eating. So the very first day I said, it's very different at my home because we all have equal rights and we don't wait for each other. It may happen that somebody arrives early, may eat early, but when we sit together, we sit as a family and everybody has equal rights. We have never waited for each other. So it took some time to mold the thinking, but that change happened. And even if in my home I have got two daughters, even if any of them eats early or anybody else eats early at home, it doesn't matter now because for them, now it's a very average thing. They can eat early, they can ask for anything, they can pick up everything. So I think that empowerment comes when first you start voicing out. If you feel that there are some challenges, it may take some time in some houses, it may be early in some places, but I think if we don't make that very first effort, the change is not going to happen. Even if I would have spent my 30 years in a house where I had a fair chances or opportunities, and I get married into another house, I would have spent another 40 years, just accepting what was the norm for them, which was not a norm for me and which was not fair. So these small little things, these small steps make those big changes. And it makes not only changes for you, but for the generations to come. Yeah. So let's hear it from another speaker now. Rosa, you want to share some thoughts? If your net connection is working. Yes, Kalpana, I think you have to say something. Go ahead, Kalpana. You can unmute yourself.
Hello, Preeti. Hello.
We can hear.
Okay. I was unable to hear you. Can you repeat what you asked?
So my question was, what are the root causes of violence against the women from your perspective?
I think it's something mentally, and it start with lack of love, and his family's environment is the root cause for it. Because when the son and the main members especially grow in that environment, they adapt from the father. That's I'm talking about the Indian perspective. I don't know other part of the world. So for me, that's so we need to correct in the early childhood, and our family environment should be very good. And same time, if something happened to us, we have to react so our daughter, our son will know, no, this is not acceptable. So that is the root cause, and I will say something mentally, and it's not like we cannot work on it. It's not so we have to be that's the main reason I'm thinking. So we have to give a very healthy mind for our next generation, on so they can start respecting the lady, and so that's the main reason, as I will say. And is of course the mentally lack of love. So the love is the cure for everything. So my dad always say people need more love when they are wrong, so we to love them, and same time teach them. And that's I'm thinking the root cause is very important. The very early childhood is teach the male child, and to not do that, and girl child to not accept this. Thank you.
Thanks, Kalpana. Very important part that you mentioned is about healthy environment. So if we create that healthy environment, it not only helps us, but it is also for the mental well-being of the family and to our children. So if a child is born into a disturbed relationship where there is violence, any sort of violence that's going on, the grooming of the child, it really impacts the mental wellness of the child as well. And even if that's a male or a female, it doesn't matter, the gender doesn't matter. They will start reacting in the certain way, the certain behaviors are adapted. If there is a girl, she will know, okay, this is what is the suffering. So she will have so much of mental impact that when she grows up to be a woman, she may not be able to understand the facts between what are the clear rights and how she can make a difference. And if there is a man or a boy in the house who's been observing this kind of a violence and not making any stand, or there is no stand against that violence, he will grow up to be a man who is either more abusive or very quiet, looking into the different violence that has been happening around them and not speaking about that. So I think they may look like a very small, few factors, but the impact of these healthy environment, which impacts our mental wellness, is very big. It's very big. So let's move to our next speaker for her thought. Rosa, can you unmute yourself and share your thoughts on what is the root cause? We can hear from you, Manju, if your net is
Yeah.
working.
Yeah. Like I feel the root cause of TV is discrimination as well as gender inequality, and like the culture, right? And the mindset, and very importantly, a patriarchal system, that is male dominated society. So to stop it, like you yourself should be the change. You should be able to take the first step by saying no, or by saying like you need to speak up, like you need to be in the position to stop the violence or discrimination you are facing, right? And you need to be able to aware other people in the communities, as well as like you have to be able to change the mindset of the people, right? And you have to go for your self-respect.
Thank you, Manju. I think very important two key points from here: self-respect and change of mindset.
Yeah.
So this change of mindset is something which can really have not only an inclusive mindset, but also a mindset to accept that we need to make some difference at this point of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a very important point. So on this note, I remember one of the recent episodes that was on November 11, 2021, where a hand signal, which one of the teen girls learned from the TikTok, helped her save that missing girl, by using that gesture where she showed to another driver who recognized her call for help, leading to her rescue. So there may be these small steps that you take, using a hand gesture, speaking to somebody, and then it can help you to bring you out of that abusive condition. So this story that was published recently was story of a 16-year-old from North Carolina girl that reported that she was missing November 2nd, has really shined a spotlight on how signals like even a small hand signal can help you take you out from that situation. She was reported from 2 days by her parents that she is missing. And what she found was she was found by a passing car. She made the gesture so that she could be rescued. And 911 was called by the driver and she was rescued. So just going back to the fact, it may be one small thing, and it can make a very big change. So let's hear it from Rosa. Rosa, what are your thoughts here? Let me know, Rosa, if you can hear us. Looks like there is an network issue. So I think no worries on that. Network always plays, but I think we have already had our victory in such a wonderful discussion that we had. So I will call it a wrap in terms of the key learnings that we had, not only about self-awareness, but also about the commitment to compassion, about the right environment, healthy environment, And the superpower that we all have, that Juhi emphasized again and again, is the power to say no. And when a no means a no. So I think it's very important also, like mentioned by Manju, that there are these regulations, there are these guidance, there are these trainings. Take help of them. Kalpana did emphasize on that we should be looking into what kind of ecosystem we create for our family, for people around us, for each and every person. How can we build that trust relationships to bring us forward? Rosa also shared the key example of how powerful we are and how we can sail through the challenges and turn them into victories. So I would suggest one small thing and one key takeaway for all of us here is that every action counts and every voice matters. So from Luani, not only from Singapore, but also from the global voice, and with our power, which is, I can say, wind behind the wings, Caroline was working behind the scenes for this. We all have come together to make that change. So keep doing the good work. Looking forward to connect with all of you on another platform and bring this voice and every voice together. Have a good day.
All good. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so